Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial. In this video I will be discussing about Python list. A list in Python is a collection of elements in square brackets that are separated by commas, and these elements are arranged in particular order. So let's go straight to explaining this code. In this video I will basically be discussing or explaining from some code. I will need to just fill in some areas that I need is important to explain to you very much. So pay careful attention as we walk along. I am sure at the end of this video you will be working very fine with list. And in this video, because list is a very powerful feature or a powerful skill to know in Python, I have divided this video into two parts. This is the part one of this video, and I'm sure this is just a long part of it. The next two parts I divided into three parts actually. The next two parts will be shorter, but I need you to pay very careful attention to what I'm going to discuss here. Now, this first line here, I've defined a list here. Like I said, we define it using the square brackets. Then the elements in it are separated by commas, just as I've done here. These are strings separated by commas. It can be numbers, it can be other values, anything you can think of. It can even be a list in the list. That is when we come to nesting list or something. And then I've defined a variable here that is holding this list for me, which I name it as friends. If I call this friends now, then I'm referring to this list. That means I want to work with this list. Now, if you want to create an empty list, you have two ways of doing that. You can use the square bracket operator like this without anything inside of it. Then you begin to fill it later with the append method or other methods, which I will discuss right here in this video. And then you can also use the list built-in Python function, which is this one, and as you can see, it has changes color to green or any depending on your code editor, but in most cases it will definitely change color since it's a reserved word in Python. And here we have it. These are the two ways you can define empty list in Python. Now that we have this list defined, let's see how we can work with each item or each element in our list. Now we want to work with any of these elements. For example, I'm choosing to work with Ronaldo. Let me say I want to inform Ronaldo that I would love to watch him at Old Trafford, or I want to tell him that he always inspires me. What you do in that case is to simply mention the name of your variable that is holding the list. Now this is friends. Is the friends that whenever I mention friends, I'm referring to this list. So I will simply say friends, and then using the square bracket operator, and then I'll put in the index of the value that or item that I want to work with. You see, we use this square bracket square bracket operator a lot. Like if you watch my video on Python dictionaries, you will see where I use square bracket to work with the elements in the values, the key value pairs in the dictionary. Also, we use it here. We also use it on strings and on tuple as well. Now, like I said, each of these elements or these items, they are arranged in a particular order. And remember, earlier in my previous video I told you that Python is a zero based index programming language. So this item you are seeing here is that Python recognizes as 0. Here is 1, here is 2, and here is 3. So because I want to work with Ronaldo here now, I will need to start to put 3 here to ask Python that this is the number 3 that I want to work with. So when I say 3 here, I mean Ronaldo. So if I run this code, it will definitely bring Ronaldo for me. But because I want to print this, I will simply put it in the print statement to put it like the print friends, and then Ronaldo. Because I want to write statement with it, so I will use string format or formatting string, which is something like this. Format string, okay. Format string, print friends, and then I'll put this in coil braces because it has been defined as a variable elsewhere. Friends, the item or the element at 3 at index 3. So what do I want to speak? I want to say like I'm inspired by him. So I enclose that, I complete the square bracket, the coil bracket, and I said inspires me, yes, inspires me, and then close that, then close the the round bracket. Now this format string is it's a way of printing strings together with a variable or a defined variable earlier, like as we define here, and now we are printing it alongside with this string, raw strings here, and then that's why we enclose it in these coil braces. Now and then the next thing is I will run the code to see how. Now this is the answer. Yes, it's CR7 inspires me. You see, this is how we access and also work with each element in a list. Like for example, another way again, let me do it again, and that is friends. Okay, friends working with, for example, let's say at index 0 now. See, now we are asking Python to give us the element as index 0. If I run this, I will say print. Let me put it in the print so that I will see the output. Print on the in the list called friend. We want to access the value at 0. If I run that, you see, now say mark. Yes, you see CR7. This line, the way we access it individually here, it works, and this one works. It now give us mark. You see, normally you are supposed to the initial letter of a person's name, which is a proper noun, has to start with capital letter. So if you want to do that, you can just say print this dot title. I'll use it here in subsequent one. I may not use it again, but you have to put that in your own. Now if I run that, you see the M has changed to uppercase. This is how we access each element in a list, and this is how we can work with individual elements in a list. You can go ahead and do that with Musk, Gates, and the rest. And then this is, like I said, this is how we access each individual element in a list. And if you want to go ahead and turn it to uppercase or lowercase, you can still go ahead and do that. Now moving on, let's see how we can modify elements in a list. I want to see how we modify elements in a list. Yes, I've talked about using individual values from a list already, so we move on to how we can modify elements in a list. Now to change an item, we simply use the name of the list together with the square bracket operator again. Then inside the square bracket operator, we put the name of the item that we want to change, then equate the whole thing to the item we intend to change it to. For example, let's say we use our footballer again. We use our footballers list again, and then we want to change the value of CR7 or Rashford or Bruno. We want to change it to Pogba. Let's change one of them. Let me say we want to change this one here to Pogba. Now, like I said earlier, you must have known what this value is here now. In terms of index, you know the index that this one is. So let me simply copy this one because I'm very fast at typing, so pardon my fast typing skill, please. Now using the square bracket operator, I'll simply say at index what? At index 2. Don't be confused because it's just 3. This is 0, 1, and 2. At index 2, I want to change it to now a string. Let me change it to Pogba. Like I said, Pogba. Change it to Pogba. Now if we run this code, and then again, now what we'll do next now is to just simply print this our variable now, print now footballer, and I run that. You see it has changed from Bruno to Pogba. Yes, this is how we can modify or we can change an element in a list. You use the name of the list. In a square bracket operator, you put the index of the item you want to change, followed by an equal sign, then the item you want to change on the right side of the equal sign. And then when you run your code by printing out or calling the variable, you notice that it have changed. Now as an assignment, I want you to use okay, we've not done the append list. Okay, all right. Now what if we want to append an element to the function, to this variable or this list that we have defined? We want to append an element to it. That is, at the end, we want to, now it is 3 elements here, we want to make it 4, 5 or more. Let's see how we do that. We can use the append method, or append function rather, in Python. What the append function simply do is to add the element at the end of the list, of the element in the list. So if we use the append element here, append function here, is going to, whatever we ask the append to do is going to be inserted in ahead here, somewhere here ahead, after this Bruno. Then we'll have it here. Let's go ahead and do that again. As I'll Control V here, then dot append. Now in this function, we simply put the name of the player we want to put, or the footballer we want to put. Let me say Fred. We have Fred. So if I run it again by printing this line after this, and then I just simply run it here, you see the output. Now you see, from a list of 3 items, we are now having a list of 4 items. We've modified it, we've appended another element. You can use this append to append or add as many elements as you want in your list. Define your list, or earlier we defined an empty list. Now use this append method to fill in the list. I hope you understand it now. Append function, append to the end of the list. Now moving on, let's talk about the inserting elements into a list. We want to insert element into a list. We use the insert method. The insert method enable us to insert elements at a particular index in the list. Still working with our list earlier, which is, let me copy that and paste it here again, with a list of footballer here. Now I'll copy that and then paste it here. Then if we want to work with this variable, we'll simply use the insert method, like I said, which require 2 arguments. Now let me use the footballer again. Like I said, I'll just simply copy it here and paste it here. So what we'll do is to use the insert method dot insert, and then give the method, give this function 2 arguments. First is the position of the element that we want to insert, or the new value that we want to insert. At which position do we want to insert it? Let's say we want to insert it at position 0, then followed by a comma. Then what is the name of the element that we want to insert? Now let's replace it. Let's make it let's say matter. Matter. We want to replace it with matter. You see now that what Python will do is to, remember this CR7 is at position 0 already. So what Python will do is to shift it to the next level, and then insert matter there. And then this Rashford will also shift to the next level, and then Bruno will shift to the next level. So if I run this code now, let me say, if I run it, nothing happens. Yes, because I have not called footballer, so I'll need to paste it here. Now run the code. You see, matter has been is now inserted as at position 0. Now this is position 0, position 1, 2 and 3. This is how the insert method works. 2 argument, the position you want to replace, and then the actual value that you want to be replaced. Now, so moving on, please pardon me for my nose. I'm having a little bit of catarrh here. Okay, moving on, let's see how we remove elements from a list using the del statement. The del, which simply stands for delete statement, or the pop method. The delete, or the del statement, yes, simply will permanently delete the value that we want to remove from the string. From the element, or from the list. It will simply remove the element or the value from the list. As an example, still using our list of this footballer, let me paste it here, and now we want to delete Bruno, or whichever one you want to delete, we simply use the del statement followed by the name of this our variable. So I paste just that here because it's been copied already. Okay, alright, let me remove this one. I just need the name of the variable, the name of the list only. Now follow again by the square bracket operator. Very powerful. We use the square bracket operator again to tell Python which element, that is the we will just use the index of the element we want to remove. For example, we want to remove this last element here, which is at position 2. I'll simply put 2 here. Then Python will permanently delete the this value from here. So by the time we print it, these are our footballers. We are only going to see CR7 and Rashford because CR7 Bruno has been permanently removed. So if I run that now, like by calling the our variable called footballers, and then I run the code and paste it here. Now I run the code, you see CR7 Rashford. There's no way we can recover this Bruno. It has been permanently removed. So you have to be careful when you use the del statement. Now if we use the pop statement, the pop method statement, that is, the pop method is unlike the del statement, because pop method allows us to work with the element that is being removed, and the pop method actually remove the element from the top of the list. Since I have this copied out, so let me just simply delete this one out and then paste it here. So what we want to do here is to pop an element from this list, and let me copy this one, then paste it here, and I will use .pop, which is a method that allow us to work with the element. Now I will indicate the element I want to remove, which I will put it here. Oh, okay, sorry, because it's popping from the end of the element, there is no need for us to indicate the elements we actually want to remove. It's the remove method that will specify the element we want to remove from. But the pop method will, by default, it will remove this one, because this is the end of our list here. This is where the pop method will remove. Now if you use the pop again, it remove this one, and use the pop, it removed until it exhausts all the elements in the list. So I'll simply type out our list again. I'll paste that here. Now if I run that, we are going to see just 2 items, which is CR7 and Rashford. You see Bruno has been popped out. Now if I run that again, like I use pop and then run that again, okay, I'll simply call this pop line again below, and then okay, sorry, okay, and then run that again. Now I want to pop again. Then let's see what happened. At that, we type out our footballer again, since it is our variable. We see how we run that now. You see it has been popped again. It's like a stack that is been removing, is removing one after the other. That's what the pop method do. Now moving on, let's move on to discuss about the remove. The remove method as well help us to, it allows us to work with the item that is being removed. Like I said earlier, okay, let me see this item that we have removed. If you want to actually work with the item that you have removed, you can simply put it in a variable. Of course, you set it to a variable. Let's say popped footballer. I'll just put it to popped, abbreviate it to popped foot. Let me just put say popped. Okay, I'll type it pop footballer. Now we are setting it that when you pop, it pops it should give us, it should put the value in the variable called popped footballer. So by the time we print out this variable, we are definitely going to see the value that is being popped from and then inserted on this. So when I run the code again, which is CR7, and I now said is you give me this value, this popped footballer. If you want to see the value that has been popped, I'll simply say print the popped footballer. Now I run the code, you see Rashford is being popped out. This is why we get Rashford. The first one popped Bruno, the second one popped Rashford. So this is the second one that we are seeing here. in your code, run this code, type it in your code editor, and then run the code and use a variable like this to collect the popped item. So next, with like I said, we'll talk about remove now. The remove also remove an element, and it also allow us to work with the element if we want to work with it. And then the remove method has a way we have to specify the that is, we have to give it the argument to specify the item we want to pop from the list. This is how we use the remove element. Okay, let me do it like this. From our list that we still have, I'll simply copy it and then still paste it here. Now I will want to remove, let's say I want to remove CR7 to be our captain. I'll simply mention the name. Again, you mention the name of the variable of the list, that is the variable that is holding the list. You type it out, type the name of the variable that is holding the list, which is simply referred to as the list. This is our list. Whenever I call footballers, you should know the list I'm talking about, our CR7, Rashford, and then the Bruno. Now you now follow it by the dot method, which the method, the remove method. Now say remove. We want to remove CR7. Now this time around, remove, and then the string CR7. Okay, CR7. Now we have to be, Python is a specific, it's a case sensitive language, so be careful how you spell your items or the names of things that you give. So I say CR7. Now this will remove CR7, and then if we want to work with the CR7, we can assign it a variable. Now what I want you to do, like earlier on, we see how we remove CR7, well, we access CR7 and said he inspires us. Now I want you to create a variable for this, put it in a variable as you removed it, and then address it, maybe like say CR7, I would love to watch you play live at Old Trafford. Yeah, there's an assignment for you. It's very simple because we have done it before. You simply set this one to be equal to, maybe you say removed item, let's say removed footballer. Okay, let's say removed footballer, and then you set it to be equal to this one that you are removing. So what you now do is removed. What you now do is now to use a format string or string formatting to print out the message you want to print to him. We have done it several times. If you watch some of my video out there, you see how very beautiful you can easily do this. So moving on, let's see another list. So we want to see how we can organize our list. Earlier we are since all this while we have been dealing with lists that are not in order. We have some, when you look at it you look at our list very carefully, you see that they are not arranged. This is C, this is R, and this is B. They are not in alphabetical order. So in this case, we use the sort statement, the sort method, and then the sorted the sorted function to actually walk through them very well. You see, the sorted is a function while the sort is a method. So I will leave this as an assignment for you to practice. In my next video, I will solve the assignment before I will move on to the part 2 of the list. So this one, the sort will permanently sort the element in our list, and then the sorted will sort it temporarily. That is, when you print the original, you see that it is still there. But this one will change the original and change it in place that you cannot access the original, the former one again. So this one, the sorted is a function while the sort is a method. So that is a hint I've given you. Then you can go ahead and work with that easily. So now we go on to printing a list in a reverse order. In this case, we use the reverse method. The reverse method, with the reverse, we simply print footballers. Let's say first we print our original list. Let's say print footballers, and then we now go on again to say print. Now let's reverse it. If we want to reverse, we now say print reversed footballer. Okay, print reversed. Okay, print reversed footballers, or reverse, sorry, footballers dot reversed. Footballers was reversed. So this is the method that we are applying on these footballers. After the original footballer has been printed, first let me comment this out to see how we get our list. Okay, footballers CR7. Yes, it's because of how we have worked with this before. You see, because we have removed this thing, and this is why it's giving us these issues. Therefore, let me redefine our list here, Ctrl C, and then paste it here in this very cell, so Python recognizes what we are doing. Now if I run the code again, you see we have the original list that we intend to work with. The reason it gave me only CR7 before is because of the operation I've performed on it here. So that is why. Now you see, this is, we define a fresh one here, and then we now say it should print it. It gave us original. Now if I uncomment this code, you see that it's going to reverse it. It is not that it's going to reverse it alphabetically, no. It's just going to start from Bruno, Rashford, and CR7. Not that it should start from Bruno, CR7, and Rashford, no. So when I run that code, run this code, you see, okay, there's an error there. Let's see what happened. Say name footballers not defined. Oh, very good. This is just my mistake here, my typo error. I typed something here which is T, which is not supposed to be. So as just a hint, whenever you see name error, you just simply go to the last line, and when you see that, it's basically, most cases it's talking about your spelling error, whether what you define, a variable is not defined or something in your string is wrong. So in this case, just the letter T that is causing the trouble here. So I run that code again. What is that? This software has no attribute dot reversed. Oh, sorry, it's reverse, not reversed. Okay, I run that again. Beautiful. Now we have it. Yes, the reason you are seeing none is because of the way we put this statement. We just put print footballers dot reverse. So what we need to do is to just simply remove this print first. Then as it is being reversed, we now call our footballers, which is, our list, yes, which is the variable footballers. So I'll copy that and paste it here. Instead, even it is that one, it is the the list that we are supposed to print. Paste that here. So if we run this now, you see, it has come out very as expected. Now Bruno, Rashford, and then CR7. You see the way it has reversed it. So this is how we use reverse method, not reverse. There's no D there. It was a mistake there. This is how we use the reverse method on our list to get our list reversed. So moving on, let's see how we can determine the length of our list. We have this is a 3 item in a list. This our list is just a list of 3 items. So if you want to determine, it can be longer. It can be longer than this. So in that case, you can simply use the length method to determine the length function to determine the length of our variable. Okay, the length of our list. Yes, in this case, the footballers. So what we do is to simply put that in the length function. We simply say len, and then len, and then put the value in here, and then we run the code. See, it says 3. Now remember, even though Python is a zero-based index programming language, that is start it counting from 0, where human counting is what this len function do. The len function does human counting, that is, you are expecting it to count from 1, 2, and 3. So this is the case you need to just to take note of. The len function counts by the way humans count. Now if you want to this should end our video here, and the next part, which is part 2, in the next video, this, like I said, this part is divided into 3 parts. So this is the first part. The second and third are coming, and you need to pay careful attention as well. Thank you very much for now. Bye.